Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. The next stop for Gen Z and the person that they really need to demand for his resignation is the DCI boss, because that office is simply rotten, for lack of a better term. It is full of lies, misinformation, and it is the office that is used to hide atrocities and killings in the country. In the recent killings and the bodies that were found in a quarry dump site, this office came up with a figure and a face by the name Collins Jomaisu Kalasia. And they told us that this is the man who they attached to the serial killings. But questions are still being asked whether that is the real identity, whether that is the man, because it seems that we have sacrificial lambs to sanitize what has been perpetuated by the police. Now, to start with, Collins Jomaisu, allegedly his name, confessed that he was beaten to accept this responsibility that is not his. He was under duress to accept this. Now, journalists went on a fact-finding mission in his village, Hamisi constituency, somewhere in Western Province, and it cannot be linked to any of the clans. But before we get to that, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you some information that will give you insight into just how rotten this office is. In 2023, after the presidential election in 2022, Raila went to the street. He led Zimio supporters and leaders to the street, and they were demanding for Sava to be opened and economic rights. They wanted the cost of living to come down, and the DCI came up with certain with certain information, and they shared on their Twitter handle faces of Kenyan youth that they were looking for, and they even appealed to anyone who is aware of where they are to share the information. And these are the photos there. They said they were doing some investigation. This is part of what they said, that the information about these people are being gathered and shall be updated. Who will face charges ranging from robbery with violence, malicious damage to public property, and assault, among others allied offenses. We are appealing to members of the public to volunteer information that may lead to their arrest. So very bravely, and what I believe they feel is professional, they shared these faces. Now, Citizen TV went on a fact-finding mission, and I want to share with you this very fast. Fact check. Evidence on why some of the photos shared by the DCI are fake. That was the headline there. The Directorate of Criminal Investigation is on the spot after some of the photos of suspects alleged to have been behind the chaos and violence during anti-government protests turned out to be false accounts. Let's just go one by one. A reverse image search revealed that an image of a protester hurling a stone was first published by the Financial Times on January 10th, 2018. Yet, this information was being given to us in 2023. So the information that the picture that you see there, monitors delay claim adds to Kenyan election. That is not a person from Kenya. Further searches on the images shared on the third frame below revealed that another image shared on the DCI's Twitter handle, purporting to be those from Monday's demos, showed that the images were from protests in Burundi. There was a time when Nkurunziza was given, I think, wanted to extend his term to vie for another term in office, and people went on rampage. They were protesting. So the images from Burundi, very shamelessly, the DCI took them and they were posting it to us. You can imagine. In a photo shared by CNN on May 1st, 2015, the protesters in Burundi are seen jumping over a burning barricade as they demonstrate after then President Pierre Nkurunziza was designated by his political party, CNDD-FDD, to run for the 2015 presidential election. The photo was also shared by AFP on Monday, 2nd, 15th. You can imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. Another image shared by the directorate was published by German state-owned broadcaster Deutsche Welle on August 16, 2022. So these are not images from Kenya. The DCI had shared the image alongside several others in the aftermath of the picketing as seen on frame 2. And this is what they were saying, that detectives on a manhunt for suspects involved in Monday's violence. The Directorate of Criminal Investigations has launched investigations into acts of violence that were committed by criminals during the illegal demonstrations held on March 20th, 2023. Yet they know very well that they have borrowed pictures very carefully from Burundi and from other countries, ladies and gentlemen. Besides this, the DCI also shared another image on the second frame below, even though it was shared back in October 2017. In October 17, 2017, following the government ban on demonstrations in Kenya. So this is another video, another photo that happened. It was shared in 2017, yet we were on demonstrations on 2023. So ladies and gentlemen, that was just to give you insight into the mischief that is going on within that office. Now, let's come back to this boy here that we were given, Collins Joma Isu. When the information came out, people were wondering. People who murdered some of our ladies have never been arrested to date. Yet when the information came out that there were bodies that were found in that dump site, within 24 hours they had arrested someone. How quick and fast was that? And then, you know, that place was burnt finally, simply to conceal evidence. And Kenyans are reading a lot of mischief and they don't trust this government, whether the judiciary, the executive, or the legislative arm of the government. Now, I want us to listen to this story as was given by NTV when they went for another fact-finding mission, just to find out whether they can attach Juma Isu to the clans that are purportedly, to the clan that is purportedly coming from. Let's listen to this one.
Now, our quest to find the ancestral home of the main suspect in the Kware killings, that is Collins Joma Isu Halisia, took us to Shamahoho. Unfortunately, the border operators here could not identify him after we showed them the photos the DCI had circulated.
Hapa Shamahoho sijawahi muona, lakini kwa mtandao watu wanasema anatoka Hamisi. Nasema huko kwa stage jaribu kuangalia huko. Hapa sijawahi muona kwa hiyo tu.
Hiyo sura mjaiona. Our next stop was to the area chief, where she directed us to a place known as Musunju in Shavaringa location. Here we found Boniface Karanja, a man said to be a cousin to the suspect.
Sijadhibitia by the way kama ndio hata huyo, kwa sababu sinakwambia majina kwanza mawili yote tofauti. Catherine Shiusa na Collins Jimaisi. Unaona? Penye kama hii jina iliokotwa Collins Jimaisi. Ani hata kuna venye haishikani. Unaona? Catherine Shiusa. Na huyu mwenye anaongelewa ni Collins Jimaisi. Yaani kuna disconnect kubwa sana, hata ni kitu yenye sistahili kuongelea.
Na kuambia hivi, hii shamba mzee hapa alikufa. Na mama hapa alienda na watoto yake. Hatujui ni yeye au ni mwingine.
DCI wafanya kazi yao. Uzembe utolewe. Watu wafanye kazi yao, wahakikishe kuwa they are bringing the right people to the books na watu wa face the consequences.
Who is fooling who, ladies and gentlemen? Because the government must understand that they're dealing with mature people. What makes you think that this time around the DCI is giving us the correct information. Because what is happening today is the same thing that happened in 2023. It was demonstrations that was led by Azimio. And they wanted to claim that pieces of property were vandalized, and they wanted to ban the demonstrations. They also wanted to pick up some images and just kill them or run away with them, maybe to Rivayala or something. Today, we all had the story where they apprehended, not just apprehending, but they abducted the renowned journalist Macharia Gaido. Macharia witnessed a vehicle that was following him, and then he decided, let me take refuge in Mudaiga, current police station, I think. Under the full glare of camera, in broad daylight, and as the police watched, they caught him, bundled him in a Probox car. And then later, when things got thicker, they were telling us that it was a mistaken identity. And people are asking, then how do we now trust you? You are full of mistaken identity. You can even borrow images from Burundi and all that, and then you are telling us that a renowned journalist can be mistaken for someone, and it's all lies. And that's why we are telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a lot of mischief, we have a lot of rot inside that office, and the next person who should resign is the head of that office. But even resignation of the departmental heads are not helping. Inspector General Japheth Koome, the former, resigned. But then the mayhem that we witnessed yesterday is untold. It's even worse than Japheth Koome. Douglas Kanja seems to be more ferocious. And what do we conclude? Is that William Ruto is the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces and is in charge of these atrocities that are being meted on our people. So even if you force Douglas Kanja to resign today and you appoint me in that office, then I will go by the policies. So there are no two ways about it. Either you don't take the position, you don't take up that position, or you take it and you must align yourself with the policies of the government of the day. For this boy, Collins Jomaisu, I can safely conclude that this is not the boy. They want to have someone to attach to the killings. Because I have given you just a picture, I've painted for you a picture of how they have dealt with the demonstrations before, of how they capture people and they say mistaken identity. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are dealing with a very rogue government. You can imagine your child, they just decide. They knock on your door, they capture you, and they tell you, this is the position. You must accept this. And because of the beatings and torture and the physical injury, you simply accept. And then after they've beaten you, and they tell you, Ukisema, if you reveal this, will kill you. And then you go to court, you can imagine that I'm the one who did it, yet you're very innocent. Why did they ban that place if they were sure they had caught the man behind the killings? And for how long are we going to continue like this? You live in your country, but you look like an alien. The political class wants to do whatever they want, and you don't question. If you question abductions, killings, in churches, in schools, and we are back to the Nyayo era. William Ruto is a very good student of Nyayo. And it seems he has decided that he's going back to factory settings. He's not going to beg anymore. And someone must have told him that you be yourself. Don't pretend that you're listening to them. Just kill and beat and maim them. And I wonder whether this will work for him. Now he has decided that people are killed. The DCI will conceal the evidence. The killer cops are walking at large and they are masked. I saw them under the guise of all those hooded jumpers. They don't want their faces to be seen. And they are meting atrocities on innocent Kenyans. All that people want is to listen to them. It is not a difficult thing. You listened and you dissolved the cabinet. You listened and the inspector. I mean, you need to even listen more and do the right thing. It is easier for William Ruto to do the right thing and stop, killings. We are putting yourself in a situation where we have to soil our hands in blood for nothing. It is simple. Just sit down with your think tanks and say, this is what we want to do. If anything, if it is corruption for the 3 years, they have enriched themselves. I wish they could just sit down and say, enough is enough. What we have taken is enough. Now we want to work for the people. Instead of forcing yourself and you're killing people and you want to conceal evidence, it is even more difficult to conceal because finally it will be seen. The evidence will come out. This office, and by the way, is there any government office that is genuine? Everything is just messed up.